Hello everyone. Welcome to another video on Offbeat Gyan. This week's video is on how to hunt for a research topic. At the outset, let me tell you that I myself do not have a doctorate, but I have a lot of experience because I have applied to a number of places for admission to the PhD program. I have applied at Manoanmaniam Sundarnar University, then Gandhigram University, IIT Madras. Finally, in 2014, I managed to get admission for their Part B or Category B external PhD program, and I am at the final stage, that is, I'm writing my thesis right now. So I guess I am quite experienced because I've applied to so many different places, and in all these places the thesis topic has been different. So I have prepared around 5 sets of synopses on different topics. So I guess that experience should be shared with you all, because doing a PhD or even writing a research paper or an MA project or a BA project or an MPhil project is quite a tough proposition if you are planning to do it well and if you are planning to do it sincerely. So this experience, whatever I'm going to share with you, is based on my journey in the art of acquiring a PhD, which I may probably get around to doing in the next couple of years. So whatever experience I have acquired in this journey, I am just going to share it with you. Whatever I did, the mistakes I made, and the corrections that I made during the course of my journey, that is what I'm going to share with you. And at the end of this video, I will also be adding a list of topics on which you can work, a broad area on which you can definitely work, suggestions, that is. This will help you to zero in on a particular topic on which you can choose to work. Okay, so how do you hunt for a research topic? Since you have made up your mind that you're going to do it properly, sincerely, honestly, then 3 important things. You have to read wisely, you have to document wisely, you have to organize everything in a proper order so that you will be able to access it at any point of time. So let me begin by telling you how you begin this hunt for a research topic. Okay, so a research topic can be for a paper that you're writing for a journal. It can be for your MA project or BA project, or it can be for your thesis, whatever it is that you have in mind. So the first thing that you have to do is, in case you do not have a topic in mind, or you have a topic in mind but you do not know how to go about it, then there are a number of sites which you can check out, and you will get information about what has been done on that particular book or author or area that you have chosen, and based on that you can arrive at a different or unique topic. So the first site that you should look up is of course Shodhganga at inflib.nit.ac.in. Now Shodhganga is a repository of theses which are written in Indian universities. A number of Indian universities are part of this framework, and as soon as you get into shodhganga.inflib.net.ac.in, there will be the listing of all the universities, and if you have a particular author or a particular topic in mind, you can just type it in and you will get the information. It will be in a tabular form, and then you can click it and you can access the particular thesis or the journal article, or they actually have a repository of the synopsis, PDF documents, the minor research and major research projects that have been submitted by people across India. So the first one that you should check out is Shodhganga, the free repository of thesis written in India. Then you can look up the thesis repositories of foreign universities, for which OATD or Open Access Thesis and Dissertations is quite a good site. If you have a particular author in mind or you have a particular topic in mind, you can narrow down your search. You can look for that particular topic or you can look for that particular author. It is quite a friendly site, and you can access it at oatd.org. Then of course there is ResearchGate, which is a very friendly site which I often use whenever I write my research papers, and I have used it intensively during the writing of my PhD thesis. And you have the option of free download of full PhD thesis and journal papers. And some of these papers will also have the citation mode listed there. So you can access ResearchGate at www.researchgate.net. Then of course there is Project Muse. Project Muse is a paid site, but you can definitely access the abstract or the preview of the articles in journals. They have listings of new journals, upcoming journals, journals that will be added to Project Muse in 2022. So you can just click on any particular date that you have in mind, and all those articles or papers in a particular journal will be listed, and you can click on it and you can find out, you can read it, or you can at least get an abstract or a preview. From the abstract, you will be able to form an idea of the topic that you want to choose. That is, if you are in the beginning stage, in the preliminary stage, when you are completely confused, when you are totally at sea, you don't know how to go about it. Okay, see, if you are writing a journal paper, the journal will usually have a theme. Okay, most journals usually have a theme or a topic, and based on that you have narrowed down your search. So you can look for those specific terms, you can look for those specific works which you can fit into that particular theme. But if you are completely new to this, you're doing it for the first time, then you should be doing a lot of reading before you get into the process of actually writing an article, a paper, a journal article, or a thesis. Okay, and it can be a very confusing process. It can be extremely intimidating because we have so much information to access and we are completely confused. Okay, when you see all this information in front of you, you will be confused, you will be terrified, and you will feel at sea, you will feel completely lost. How do I process all this information? What do I take? What do I give up? Okay, so you have to discipline your thought, you have to discipline the way you read things, you have to discipline your mind, you have to discipline your vocabulary. Clarity of thought is very important. Okay, see, when you are searching for something on the net, if you do not key in the exact words that will help you look up that particular thing you have in mind, then you will get a lot of other information which is actually not required. Okay, and you will not get anywhere. So basically what you should do is, you should narrow down your idea, you should narrow down your theme, what you have in mind. You should think about it with a clear, cool mind, and then only should you begin your hunt for the research topic. Okay, so another site is JSTOR, jstore.org. JSTOR, earlier it used to allow us to read about 6 articles per month, but I think because of the COVID situation, now they allow you to read up to 100 articles. Okay, they have a number of articles which you can read for free online. You can download it and you can read it online. You don't have to pay any money. Paid articles are also there, but the free ones are also equally good. And some articles you'll have a brief preview, 2 or 3 paragraphs. And from that also you can get ideas. Okay, JSTOR is a very friendly site. You should user-friendly site, so you can definitely start an account there, and you will be able to access around 100 articles per month, which is quite good. Then there is a site called zlib.org, and it is an e-book library, and most of the books, I actually keyed in a number of titles and I was able to find most of them. You can download the books on your phone or on your laptop, and you can read them. Okay, that is, I think all this is probably because of the restrictions imposed during the pandemic period. So you have all these different sites which you can access for books, for journal articles, for all kinds of secondary and primary resources that you will need for your research work, be it a paper, a project, or your PhD thesis. Then, of course, Google Books. Google Books is very friendly. I have used it intensively for writing journal articles, for writing my thesis. Of course, all the pages will not be available, all the chapters will not be available, but at least parts of it are available, and you can definitely get an idea of the book. So, if you have a particular book in mind, a novel or a piece of non-fiction in mind, which you have not been able to buy, which you have not been able to go to the library and find out, then you can definitely look into Google Books and you can read it, and it will give you an idea whether you are comfortable with the book or not. And if you are comfortable with it, you can proceed. You can order it online, and or you can go to the library and get it and get a copy of it. Okay, so reading a preview, reading an abstract of an article and reading the preview, the first few chapters of that particular book, will give you an idea whether you will be able to proceed with it or not. When you are choosing authors, make sure that you're comfortable with the book. When you're choosing a book, you should be completely comfortable with that book. Okay, because if you are writing your PhD thesis, it's literally like you're spending a lot of time with your author, not physically, but through the book that they have written, book or books that they have written. So you have to be completely at ease with the book or books that you are choosing to do your PhD thesis on. Even if you're writing a journal article, you will be spending some time with that particular article. You will be spending some time with that particular author or writer or area of interest. So it is always good to choose something that you can understand, that you can read, that you are very comfortable with, that you feel very confident you will be able to work on. Okay, don't go for topics which you will not understand. You read about say you read about 10 chapters and then you find that you are not able to proceed any further. So please do not take up a book or books with which you are not comfortable. And when you pick up a book or books, avoid A-listers. By A-listers, I mean the Booker Prize winners, the Nobel laureates, because you'll find that they've been done to death. Lots of people will have already written theses and articles and papers on them. Unless, of course, you're choosing, for example, you're writing your, you've got your PhD admission in 2021 and you choose the Nobel laureate of 2021, probably you'll be first of the mark, okay? First or second, or at least the first 100 of the mark. That's okay, okay? Otherwise, it is always better to go for authors who are not so well known, who are not so popular, but who have their own niche, you know. That is how you discover your niche. Okay, you go for such authors on whom not too much work has been done, and even if work has been done, not in that particular area that you are choosing to work on. Okay, your work has to be unique, it has to say something different. Otherwise, what is the point of writing that journal article or doing that BA project or your PhD thesis? Okay, and if you should make up your mind, are you going to do a thematic study or a theoretical study? If you're doing a thematic study, then you have to read those books and you have to find common themes in those books. Okay, say supposing you're going to work on 6 books. So 6 books, 2 different authors. That's what I did. Okay, so you have to pick up some common themes which are present in all these books. See, the same theme may not be present in all 6 books. You'll find that the same theme may be present in 4 of the books. 2 by one author, 2 by the other author. That's okay. You can work with it. Okay. And if you find a common link among all 6, great. Very good. Okay. And make sure that it is not too overwhelming. Okay. It shouldn't be too big. It shouldn't be too voluminous. you should be able to handle all these books, all the stories. Okay. And once you have selected the books, next thing is, if you have decided that you're going to do a theoretical study, then you should find out what theories interest you. In case you're somebody who doesn't know much about theories, you can always go to Wikipedia. See, people denounce Wikipedia a lot, but Wikipedia is one place you get the summary of most things very easily, very quickly. It is accessible. Okay, there might be wrong facts here and there, but then it is definitely a very important source. Okay, so supposing you're looking for something like posthumanism and you don't know what posthumanism is all about, and so what you do is you go to Wikipedia, find out about posthumanism, read up a little bit about it, look at the important theoreticians, make notes, intensive notes, keep notes of everything that you are doing. Okay, write it down, document everything that you are doing. Without documentation, a lot of things slip out of our head. Okay, we won't be able to remember all these things that we are doing. So it is always better to keep writing whatever you are doing. So go to Wikipedia, look up this, write down this information. Wikipedia will always give you an idea about the important theoreticians who are working in that particular field. So then you search for them. And then if you understand the concept of posthumanism, you are interested enough to work on it, then you search for books or fiction or non-fiction related to posthumanism. Then try to get those books. Okay, and if those books PDF downloads are available on these sites that I mentioned earlier, then you can read it, you can get an idea, and then you can decide whether you will be able to work on it or not. Okay, so see, there are a number of theories floating around, so you have to make up your mind which theory you are going to select. Now if you have certain books in mind, then what you should do is you should actually do a preliminary review and see whether the theories that you are going to apply, the theories that you are interested in, the theories that you understand, the theories that you relate to, the theories that you can work on, those theories are applicable to the books that you have selected. Sometimes what happens is you love a particular set of books or a particular author, and you start working on it and you have selected a theory, but then you get into trouble when you see that that particular theory does not work well on the work or the fiction or the novel that you have selected. And that can be very, very troublesome, let me tell you, because then you will have to go back, you will have to do a review, you will have to pick up another author, you'll have to pick up other books into which you can apply this particular theory, or you'll have to change the theory, you'll have to go for some other theory. And see, post-colonialism, theories on post-colonialism and all that, they have been used again and again, so you'll have to move on. Newer theories are there, new kids on the block, so you'll have to read up about them and you'll have to understand and you'll have to see whether they fit with your book. Once they do, you can use it. So you have finished your hunt, you have arrived at a particular set of books by a particular author or authors, and you also have theories in mind. You also have particular theoreticians with whom you are going to work. You understand their works also. Okay, so now you are ready to embark on the research project. Okay, now what do you do? The things that I'm going to share with you are things that I have been doing, I still do. First, what you do is, if you have got your book, then you can always read the book. First, you do a preliminary reading of the book. One reading, second reading, third reading also. And by the time you get to the third reading, you can have something like this, post-it notes. I have got post-it notes at different places in the book where I have written down important points related to that particular page. Okay, and you can see there are a number of details, so you can write it on top like this, and this will actually help you to understand it better when you read it later or when you start writing. I have made these notes here. It's good to make notes on the book itself although people keep telling you not to do that, but this really helps. And what I did was, I have this notebook for one particular novel that I had chosen for my PhD thesis, where I sort of wrote down a page by page summary. I'm not advising you to do it, but then it will definitely help if you can do it, if you have adequate time. This is something that I did page by page, not all the pages, of course, the important pages. I have written the page number, and I have written in brief what happens on that particular page, so that next time when I'm doing the writing or reading up something on it, I can always come back to this and refer to it. I've done the same with the MLA handbook, the 8th edition also. See, you can see it's all post-it notes in different colors, I've got green for editors and translators, then city of publication, then publishers' names, all these things, so that I can locate it quickly. That is why it is filled with all these different colored post-it notes. Another thing that I was a little bit late in doing was having files for all the articles and journals that I collected over a period of time. Okay, so once you see, two things you should be doing. You should be reading the primary source or the novels or the work that you have chosen to work on, and you should also start searching for the background material on that particular piece of work. Okay, that means secondary sources means whatever has been written about that particular book by critics, theoreticians, and others, by reviewers. All those things you should start collecting from libraries. Another thing, you can always go to most university libraries. They have these thesis repositories. You can go there, you can sit down there, which is not possible now because of the pandemic. But that was something that people usually used to do. Go to a particular library and they have the thesis repository. Sit there, you go through the thesis, you take down notes on that. So that also helps you to arrive at a research topic. Okay, so yeah, I was talking about files. See, this here is a file that I have on Dalit criticism. What I have done is I have taken printouts of all the PDF documents, and I have filed it. What you can do is you can also have a virtual database. You can have all these online, whatever you download, you can put it in separate folders. This was suggested to me by one of my very good friends. She told me that you can make these folders on the computer, on the laptop itself, and you can put it there, and whenever you have to access it, you can take it. And when you put there, you put a date of access also, so that will help you when you write the works cited or the bibliography. Date of access is of course not required nowadays, but then if you need it, you can always keep that also over there. So these are some of the tips and tricks that I picked up and wiser people told me. Another thing that I was told by another good friend of mine was to always have a handy notebook. Okay, a notebook and a pen. Once you start writing an article or a paper or a project or a thesis and you're completely involved in it, you start living with it literally. What happens is, night when you're sleeping, you get these ideas, these flow of thoughts going on, and you most probably you will forget it in the morning. So what she told me was, you should have this notebook handy, so you can get up and you can scribble it down, whatever it is that came to mind. You get these lovely words at night, but when you get up in the morning, you forget everything. So in this particular, a small notebook with a pen, okay, you can just scribble it down, whatever comes to mind, whatever idea comes to mind. Okay, it may be about the conclusion of a particular chapter, or it may be the introduction of a particular chapter, and these words and lines are flowing through you. You take it down, you scribble it down. Okay, and all these things will help you in the final writing process. You'll remember, oh, I wrote this somewhere, and you can take it and you can add it when you write your thesis. And most important thing, people keep asking you when you're doing your PhD, what is your hypothesis? That was a confusion that I had. People used to ask me, and I had no idea. I framed my hypothesis quite late. I had a very basic idea, a very sketchy idea of what I plan to do. But Over the period of writing the thesis, I had developed a very good idea about what I intend to do with my thesis. So, if you are clever enough, if you are not clever, if you are intelligent enough, you're sensible enough, you will frame a hypothesis at the beginning, and as you proceed to write, you may find that you might have to make slight changes in that, but then a basic framework will definitely help you. So this is basically whatever I wanted to share with you. It's already quite a long video. I hope it will help you, and at the end of this talk I have included a list of areas of interest, areas on which you can work, broad areas, okay, which you can pick up and you can work on. So I hope this will help you, and with that, let me say bye. Thank you. Thank you for listening patiently. If you are getting to the end of the video,